Welcome to Mother's Revenge, where heartfelt stories touch your soul and may even bring you to tears. Hey friend, please subscribe. 1 second for you, big deal for me. The pink folder was clutched tight in both hands, edges worn soft from being carried, opened, reclosed a dozen times. Emma Carter. 7-year-old Freckles' lopsided braid stepped into the North Line lobby like she owned it. She did not hesitate. Mrs. Hernandez, her neighbor, followed right behind, coat over one arm scanning for security. Reception was sleek. Tall, glass, quiet, buzz floor-to-ceiling screens showing muted product loops. Emma marched right up to the front desk like she had practiced it in her head. Megan Blake looked up from her monitor, eyebrows raised. "Well, hey there. What can I do for you two?" Emma barely waited. "My daddy fixes things with this," she said, holding up the pink folder. "I need to show someone." Megan blinked, then leaned forward, kneeling to Emma's level. "You got a name, sweetheart? Emma Carter. My daddy is Daniel. He works at night." Megan glanced at Mrs. Hernandez, who nodded. "Her dad is trying to apply here. She wanted to help." "Well," Megan smiled, opening the visitor log, "let us get you to a badge. Hold real still. I am taking your picture." A few clicks later, she hit a button and picked up the phone. "Hey, Lauren, I have got a visitor. Kiddo with a pink folder says it is for Daniel Carter. Thought you might want to take a look." By the time Lauren Price, assistant to the CEO, stepped out of the elevator, Emma had already opened her folder on the front counter. Inside was a dashboard she made herself. Colored construction paper tabs, tiny checklists, stickers labeled KPIs, and rows of boxes marked to fix and fixed. Lauren crouched beside her, fascinated. "You made this yourself?" Emma nodded, flipping a tab. "This is what my dad does at night. He makes checklists like this. He fixes messes." Behind them, a pair of heels clicked fast across the lobby floor. Aaron Calloway, CEO of North Line Pay, paused mid-stride. "What is this?" she asked. Megan spoke first. "She is Daniel Carter's daughter. Came in with Mrs. Hernandez. Said she wanted to help her dad." Aaron studied the pink folder, then Emma. Something flickered behind her expression. Sharp interest, no smile. She turned to Lauren. "Give me 15 minutes." Aaron did not wait for an answer, just gestured toward the nearest glass-walled conference room. Emma followed, folder in hand, Mrs. Hernandez still trailing eyes wide. That was how the door opened. Quick note before we continue: share in the comments which city or country you are listening from. It helps us see where you are tuning in from and figure out the best time to post new stories. Thanks. Now let us get into it. I was 32 then, 20 hours into a shift that started with inventory errors at the warehouse and ended with a busted courier van in Medford. I had not eaten since yesterday. My phone battery was hanging on at 3%, and I was standing in HR trying not to lose it. I asked politely if I could swap rotations, move off the graveyard shift. My daughter was starting first grade. Mornings mattered. They did not even look up from the screen. "Policy is policy," the guy said like I was asking for charity. It hit the same hard way every time. Not anger, not really. Just that quiet shutdown like I was being sorted into a too-bad bin. What I did not know, what I could not have known, was that Emma had already made her move. She had watched me for weeks at the kitchen table, highlighting old invoices, printing trackers, drawing arrows in blue pen when numbers did not line up. She thought if she just showed them the lists, someone would listen. A couple hours later, my phone buzzed. "Mr. Carter," said a calm voice. "This is Lauren Price from North Line. Would you be able to stop by the office this afternoon?" I thought it was spam or a mistake. She used phrases like short conversation, clear KPIs, and another department lead will handle you, and none of it made sense. Then Ethan Rowe called head of ops. No small talk, just offered a 36-hour test task with tight acceptance rules and said, "Show me what you do. Clock starts now." That was the first crack in the wall. My kid a pink folder and a CEO who did not blink. Ethan led me to a glass-walled room on the 6th floor that smelled like dry erase markers and overused coffee machines. He dropped a folder on the table, opened it like a blueprint, and did not waste a second. Refund aging clarity by 10:00 a.m. tomorrow. Keep it simple, verifiable. No heroics we cannot audit. He said clarity like it was currency, and from the way his eyes locked on mine, I knew I was on a stopwatch already. I nodded. So, no net new workflows, just make the existing mess readable. Exactly, he said. Readable, traceable, and clean. You report to me, not Aaron. No fast lanes, no whisper credits, just receipts. Lauren stepped in behind him and slid a visitor badge across the table, plus a stapled printout. You will find timestamps, data sources, and channel threads in that. We use Slack for handoff and Jira for tracking. Anything not documented did not happen. I flipped the top page. It was tight. Every minute accounted for. Every field source called out by link. They were not setting me up to win or fail. They were setting the field level. Then Tyler Briggs strolled in with his blazer sleeves bunched up like he thought that made him look busy. Ah, the comeback story, he said with a grin. You will kill in post-production. Let me toss you a little bonus content. He clicked something on the conference screen. About 20 refund backlog tickets dumped onto the shared board, all untagged. In case you want to impress the grown-ups, he added. Ethan did not flinch. I did not take the bait. I just said, cool, and closed the folder. Emma was already at Mrs. Hernandez by the time I got back to the apartment. She had packed her stuffed otter and one of my old hoodies. I did not linger, just kissed the top of her head and said I had to go fix something grown-up. I walked home slow-stopped for a gallon of gas station coffee, the kind that had been burning since sunrise and tasted like cardboard with ambition. I took my boots off at the door, sat down at the kitchen table, and opened a blank sheet like it owed me rent. I am not a developer, never claimed to be, but I have lived in spreadsheets longer than I have lived in any one zip code. I rigged a lean Google Apps script to pull daily deltas from their refund ledger. Grouped the aging buckets by status and timestamp using query, then pivoted the whole thing with plain English labels. Ready to review, waiting on merchant, needs finance check. I did not make it pretty. I made it readable. Then I built a one-pager with screenshots, formulas, change logs, and a clear file path. Every update had my initials and a timestamp. Nothing fuzzy, nothing cute. By 5:40 a.m., I was whisper yelling at the Wi-Fi router for dropping the connection again. When it held steady, I dropped the link in the Slack channel Ethan gave me, tagged him Tyler and someone from accounting, and wrote, "Ready for QCIs, everything is labeled source-linked and filterable." Emma padded into the kitchen around 6:15, rubbing her eyes. "Why are you whispering?" she asked. I pulled her onto my lap and showed her the screen. "It is a list that helps money go where it is supposed to." She giggled when she saw the green check marks I had used as progress markers. "That is the happy box." "Yep," I said. "That is where the grown-ups want everything to land." At 9:58 sharp, Ethan opened the dock. I could see the cursor moving testing filters, stress testing tabs. At one point, he deliberately broke a formula. Then he restored the range from version history and left a comment. "It holds." 2 minutes later, he dropped 3 KPIs into the Slack thread like final terms on a contract. Cycle time down 21%. QA misses under 1.4. Daily handoff notes 100% coverage. 45-day trial starts now. "Can you confirm?" he asked. I replied, "Confirmed all notes logged in Slack thread refund ops night." He dropped a thumbs-up reaction. Lauren added the terms to my guest access and confirmed my trial user permissions. I did not throw a fist pump. I did not even sit back. I just hit Control-S one more time, closed the laptop, and poured the last cold inch of gas station coffee down the sink. No applause, no confetti, just a clock and a bar to clear. I did not try to change the world that first week, just fixed what I could see. The intake form was a mess. Half drop-downs, half free text fields, which meant no one could filter the thing without squinting at every line. I tightened that up first. Then I color-coded the ticket queue by touch date and owner. Red meant untouched in 72 hours. Yellow meant waiting on finance. Green meant in motion. Real basic stuff. Visual honesty. Some folks actually followed the scheme. A couple even commented on it. Others rolled their eyes or ignored it completely. Tyler, of course, decided to make a point. Friday, 4:59 p.m., sharp. He dropped 19 more tickets into the shared board. No notes, no tags, just dumped them like someone tossing laundry down a chute. "Did not want you to run out of things to organize," he said, standing behind me with that same smirk, like he was doing stand-up at a bar. I did not bother answering. He was not talking to me. He was playing to the room. That night, after dropping Emma off with Mrs. Hernandez for her movie night, I came back home, pulled the second folding chair to the kitchen table, and built a tiny sorter in sheets. Nothing flashy labels, timestamps, assigned owners, and how long each ticket had been untouched. I added one rule. If something sat idle longer than 72 hours, it auto-flagged to needs review and pushed into the red column. It was not magic. It was just friction removed. By Monday morning, half of the oldest tickets had been closed out cleanly, and the other half were escalated with real notes. Merchant not responding. Needs legal review. Hold pending verification. The usual blame and bounce routines did not have air to breathe. I did not call attention to it, just showed up for the ops stand-up and waited like everyone else. Erin joined that day. First time I had seen her in person since the pink folder moment. She stood in the back, arms folded, scanned the board during Ethan's update. She did not mention me, not directly. She said, "Cycle time is finally moving. Thank you, Ethan." Her eyes flicked over me for maybe half a second, then kept moving. That was the point. By the end of the week, the team was split. Some respected the clarity. Some acted like I was writing checklists for show. Lauren called it clerical theater once when she was joking. But I had already heard Tyler say it without the smile. Friday afternoon rolled in quiet. A few folks were starting to pack up. Then Megan pinged me on Slack. "Little visitor incoming." Emma showed up in her puffy blue coat with hot cocoa in both hands and a new dashboard she had made during her after-school art hour. This one had tiny Velcro tabs labeled "Stuck, Fixing, and Fixed." Megan helped her fill out a kid's visitor card with a smiley face next to her name. Lauren walked her to the break room where someone had brought donuts, and Emma lit up like she had walked into a carnival. Ethan came over and crouched beside her. "This yours?" he asked, pointing to the dashboard. Emma nodded, eyes big. "It helps keep track of what needs help." He smiled. Rare sight. And carried the thing into the retro, held it up like a prop. "Before we start," he said, "I would like to introduce a new framework. Stuck, fixing, fixed. Try to keep up." People actually laughed. The tension in the room dropped like someone had cracked a window. Nobody died from seeing a kid for 10 minutes. After the retro, I packed up without saying much. Sweetness does not fix metrics. The work does. As we walked out, Ethan pulled me aside near the elevators. "Listen, keep the receipts. Every fix, every chat, every update logs, timestamps, names. That is how you cut through the noise." I nodded, already doing it. That night, just past 11, I caught a weird thread in one of the side client channels. A mid-tier merchant was seeing repeated address mismatches on refunded transactions. Looked small on paper, but could blow into something ugly if left untouched. I did not wait. Dug through the logs and spotted the pattern. Someone had mapped a secondary field in the validation script, but forgot to normalize spacing on zip codes. Same address, different format flagged as inconsistent. I wrote a 2-line note in the thread, "Root cause zip field mismatch on partial refunds." Autofix proposed trim white space, unify format. Linked the specific cases, dropped a time-stamped screenshot, and tagged the dev lead. Did not ask for credit, just moved the friction. Morning came with fewer pings than usual. Accounting replied with one line I had not expected. Thanks for the catch. Cleaned on our end. It was not a trophy. It was not even a compliment. But I screenshotted it anyway. Small win. Noted. It was 1:16 a.m. when the refunds engine started choking. I saw it first in the hourly tracker. Spike in pending totals. Time to clear stretching past threshold on dozens, then hundreds of transactions. The merchant name jumped out. Pine Market big enough to care, loud enough to escalate fast. By 1:21, their first email hit the support inbox. Refund stuck. Aging past promise window. Need ETA. No subject line fluff, just pressure. I opened Slack and built a fresh war room channel on the fly. Ops hot patch refunds Pine Market. Tagged the on-call list by name. No aliases, no IT team. Pulled in DevOps Finance QA and the junior support lead. Then I posted a visible countdown timer. Update pulse every 20 minutes. Let us stay honest. I did not touch the system. I was not authorized, and I knew better. My job was coordination. Map the flow. Keep records and suggest only what we had already tested last week. That sandbox was not decorative. It was our one dry run buffer. The pattern showed itself around 140. The retries were stalling out on a mid-tier verification node. Logs confirmed delay spikes, not fails, meaning a bottleneck, not a full crash. That node was safe to bypass for outliers with low-risk tags. I wrote a proposal in 5 sentences, plain English, no technical jargon. DevOps signed off. Compliance was not awake yet, but the fallback was reversible. We put the ROE in motion at 2:04, documented the change with usernames, links, and rollback conditions. At 2:36, we added a retry rhythm batch interval tweaks to keep pressure down while flow resumed. Everything went in the log. No steps skipped, no guesswork undocumented. By 4:03, I could finally breathe. Queue velocity ticked upward, error rate dropped, and the backlog was slowly untangling. At 5:12, the pending stack dropped below threshold. Stabilized. I pushed a 5-line summary to the team. Refund delay on Pine Market traced to node 4B. Temporary bypass executed. Retry interval optimized. Backlog under control. Screenshots and event log attached. No extra sauce, just facts. I did not sleep, just sat at the kitchen table with cold coffee and stared at the screen until daylight pressed through the blinds. At 9:00 a.m., Sharp Ethan added me to a call with Aaron and Monica Shaw from compliance. I joined from the hallway outside the break room, earbuds and laptop propped on my knee. My hand would not stop twitching. Aaron was already mid-sentence when I got in. Need the trail. Nothing oral. If it is not logged, it does not exist. Monica cut straight in. Mr. Carter, who approved the route. DevOps lead, user handle jordan.cho, time-stamped at 2:04. She did not blink. Where is the rollback plan? Noted. Slack thread, 5 messages above the deploy trigger. I posted it before tagging engineering. I sent the direct link in chat and shut up. No extra explanation, just enough. They read in silence. Aaron finally said, "Good coordination, Ethan. Keep building this muscle." She did not look at me, did not say my name, did not have to. The call ended 2 minutes later. I sat in that hallway for 10 more, letting my heart catch up with the clock. I hate public speaking. I would rather get audited than lead a call. It is not fear, it is heat. Like my skin is too tight. I do not need spotlight. I need the facts to do the talking. So I wrote the retro like a flight record. 3 proposed fixes: automated heartbeat on refund nodes, flag if a retry loop exceeds 5 minutes, and a button push summary export for fast post-mortems. No chest thumping, just clean up. By 8:30 that night, Emma had paper scissors and tape all over the kitchen floor. She asked what I did at work. I told her there was a big hiccup in the system and we helped it breathe again. She nodded like that made perfect sense. An hour later, I walked into the kitchen and found a cardboard sign taped to the fridge. It said, "All clear" in crayon with a smiley face in the corner and a tiny checkbox underneath. That one box was marked fixed. I did not tear up, but I stared at that sign longer than I stared at the dashboards all night. It warmed me up more than any email ever did. Monica did not ease into the audit. She dropped the hammer in the first 5 minutes. "Why did we hire Carter?" she asked, looking directly at Ethan. "Show outputs, deltas, and where policy was tested." No emotion, just a scalpel. Ethan clicked through the first slide. He did not add flourishes, just numbers and timelines. Refund cycle time was down 25% in 3 weeks. QA misses sat at 1.2. Handoff notes logged with 100% daily coverage across the graveyard shift. Every metric had a start date, a goal line, and a source. He pointed at the raw data links like he was reading a recipe. All time-stamped, all public to team channels, nothing private. My hands were steady, but my chest was tight. I shared my own screen and walked through the artifact folder. File histories from the dashboard builds change logs from Google Sheets with my initials and timestamps, screenshots of bug fixes, Slack threads plus 2 emails from client contacts thanking us for faster processing and clean communication. Both dated, both specific. Monica watched without blinking. She did not nod. She did not type. She just absorbed. Then Tyler piped in. "I mean, sure it looks good on paper," he said, sitting forward like he was easing into a sales pitch. "But most of it is short-term sugar. The core pipelines are untouched. We have not actually changed how ops scales under load." Monica turned her head slowly toward him. "Can you show counter metrics?" He froze for half a beat. Well, I mean, the volume has been inconsistent lately, so..." "No metrics?" she asked again, cutting him off. Tyler leaned back. "Not compiled yet." Monica clicked her pen, noted something on paper, and moved on without acknowledging him again. She did not need to say anything. It landed. By that afternoon, compliance filed an internal request in the policy repo. Just a one-line entry. Clarify expectations for children in the workplace. No names, no claims, no complaint, just a gentle push to draw a line. The meetings that followed were fast and clean. Aaron called in Monica Megan from reception, Lauren from her own desk, and the facilities lead. I was not invited, which I appreciated. I did not want to be the guy in the room when they drew a boundary around my kid. By 5 that evening, the new policy hit Slack in Taurus Company notices. Office child policy effective immediately. No roaming visitors under 18. Pre-registered kids hour every Friday from 4 to 4:30 p.m. Children must wear blue striped visitor badges. Escort required at all times. Sign-in log mandatory at reception. Just policy, not a debate. The first Friday it took effect, Megan printed 2 new lanyards with blue striped sleeves, lightweight plastic, hole-punched with Emma's name written in bold marker and a smiley in the corner. Emma held that badge like a trophy. She wore it around her neck, swinging it back and forth as she walked through the office like she was running a tour. Lauren brought out cocoa packets and paper cups. Ethan set up shop near the break room with the open retro board, and Emma quietly pulled out her crayons and drew little boxes labeled slow stuck and fast again. I did not say much. I logged tickets, kept my head down, let the room breathe. Later, as the rest of the office wrapped up and most people left early for the weekend, Emma handed Ethan another homemade dashboard. This one had Velcro dots so he could physically move a task from one column to the next. He laughed, actually laughed, and stuck one to the top of the whiteboard. "Guess I have been promoted," he said. Nobody groaned. Nobody rolled their eyes. A couple people even smiled. It did not fix every whisper, but the gossip could not stretch its legs anymore. The policy gave everyone an answer before anyone had to ask. That next Monday, Monica closed out her audit in Slack with a one-line summary. Retain, monitor quarterly, maintain artifacts. That was not a compliment. That was permission. Keep doing the work. Keep proving it. No backsliding. I exhaled deeper than I had in months. I had not even realized I was clenching half the time. Teeth, jaw, shoulders. That night, for once, I did not check my phone 5 times after logging off. I did not scroll through dashboards, did not hover over Slack threads. Emma was already asleep on the couch when I got home. The blue-striped badge was hanging from the lamp like a nightlight. Her drawing was still on the table box's arrows, and a little stick figure with glasses. I stared at it for a second, then flipped over my laptop and added one more folder to the ops drive. Audit Trail, EC01 Dashboard, Artifacts Kid Policy Effect. Because if there is one thing Ethan drilled into me, it is that skeptics do not argue with timestamps, and I plan to stack them high. I caught the error just as I was about to shut the laptop. One last skim through the dashboard before bed, and my eyes snagged on the totals refund volume way too high for a Wednesday night. Clicked the tab, saw the label mismatch. My stomach locked up. I had marked a batch of partial refunds as full. It did not feel huge until I saw the metric it fed. Payouts processed per client week-over-week trend. And one of those clients was Pine Market. 6:40 a.m. Their CFO pinged the exec alias asking why the numbers did not match their ledger. I already knew it was mine. I did not wait for a storm to start. I documented the mismatch in the change log with a red flag and timestamp. Then I rolled back the label field using sheet history, manually rebuilt the affected delta columns and highlighted the affected date range in yellow. I wrote a 2-line summary at the top. Incorrect label refund type marked full instead of partial. Impact inflated totals on trend graph corrected. Then I sent Ethan a DM. Heads up, I mislabeled a block of refund data. Reversed logged fix in progress. Can walk you through if needed. He replied in less than 2 minutes. Meet at 9, bring rollback steps and a fix proposal. At 9:30, Erin joined the call. No fanfare, just camera on hair pulled back black hoodie like she had barely gotten out of her own fire drill. Walk me through it, she said. I pulled up the doc, highlighted the rows, showed the drop-down field I had misused, and how it cascaded through the totals because of how the pivot grouped refund types. Erin did not interrupt. When I got to the fix log, I paused. The math is right now. The labeling check was not tight enough. She did not nod, did not blink, just said, owning it matters. Build the prevention plan and ship it by tomorrow. No lecture, no saving face, just get it fixed. So I did. I added a new sanity check tab, ran key metrics side by side with previous week deltas, and flashed red if the swing went above 20%. Then I added a forced note field. No update would push live unless I typed a reason into the change description cell, plain English only. The script flagged it otherwise. Last I added color-coded warnings at the top of the sheet that auto-triggered if refund types skewed too far one way. Not elegant, but effective. I tagged Ethan in the updated sheet. Then I went to bed for the first time in 2 days. The next morning, Erin showed up at stand-up. She held a printed version of my fix log and waved it once before folding it in half. This is the blueprint for future. Oops, no drama, just a fix. Let us make that the standard. Then she moved on. No pat on the back, no burn either. Just signal, sent. Here is what owning it looks like. Later that day, she pulled me aside in the hall by the stairwell. Her voice dropped. Years ago, she said I missed the signs on a guy pulling doubles. Smart Quiet did not raise his hand when something slipped. We lost a client. He lost the job. Never again. I did not say anything. I just nodded. I know the rules feel strict, she added. That is why I get rules, I said. Rules keep me honest. That was the end of it. She walked out without waiting for a reply. Back home, different fire. I opened the mailbox to find a rent increase notice, $160 effective the following month. I did the math twice in my head, then out loud just to be sure. Emma heard me talking numbers to myself and asked if we were moving again. I told her, no, not yet. Then got back on Slack to push the final patch note to Ethan. He must have overheard the rent talk. Later that evening, he stopped by my desk and slid a small post-it toward me. On it was the name of a housing assistance program tied to Northline's community grants. I shook my head. That is for families in worse shape than me. He did not move. It is not pity. It is a tool. You do not let a wrench sit in the box if you have got a bolt loose. I stared at the paper. You are sure? Use the tool, Ethan said. That is what it is there for. I applied that night. Took me 20 minutes. I felt stupid the entire time, like I was failing some invisible test, but the confirmation email came back approved. The bump would not hit as hard now. Next morning, Emma had no idea what went down. She did not ask about metrics or housing grants or fixed logs. She just climbed up onto the kitchen counter and asked if Friday Cocoa was still happening. I told her it was. She grinned, leaned against my shoulder, and said, "Good. I already packed extra marshmallows." It happened during Tuesday's manager huddle. Mid-slide, mid-sentence, Tyler pulled up a screenshot of the refund aging view, the exact one I had built after the Pine Market incident, right down to the pivot grouping and my phrasing in the chart caption. I watched him walk through it like he was the one who made it, said it helped bring visibility and clear bottlenecks on the night cycle. I knew that screenshot. I had pasted it into my own 5:12 a.m. summary after we closed the incident. Tyler's version had no tags, no references, just his voice claiming we had stood up a new framework last month, as if we were all on the same deck when it got built. I did not say anything did not need to. Monica was already typing. By Thursday morning, she had pulled audit extracts from it. Not a whisper of politics, just facts, who edited what, when, and how many times. The transcript showed my message at 5:12 a.m., file links included. Tyler's message came nearly an hour later, 6:07 a.m. Same screenshot, no edits, no reference. The handoff note from that morning still had him tagged. He had not replied, had not opened the file until the timestamp on his copied image. Lauren compiled the artifacts. She did not editorialize. She just dropped everything in a quiet internal thread screenshot chat links, edit trail, my doc history, and the timestamp that backed it all. No commentary, just receipts. Friday's huddle started silent. Nobody joked. Nobody filled the air. Ethan read through the doc. Lauren posted slowly out loud. Then he looked at Tyler. "Step out for 10, please." Tyler did not fight it. He stood, walked out, and shut the door. Ethan looked at the rest of the room. Thanks to Lauren for pulling the thread together, and thanks to the person who did the work. He did not say my name. He did not need to. Everyone knew. Tyler did not come back into the room. The next Slack update showed he had been rotated into vendor liaison. Lateral move. No announcement, just gone from our lane. The rumors died fast, quietly, like no one wanted to be next in line. Later that day, Ethan stopped by my desk. He did not sit. He just said, "We are doing an all-hands next week. I want you to walk through the refund aging view. 3 minutes, just the highlights. Show where it lives." My mouth dried out instantly. "Like live," Ethan added. "You built it. It does not have to be fancy, just clear." He walked away before I could object. That night I tried running through it out loud. Emma was brushing her teeth when she saw me pacing around the living room with my laptop open and a face like I had just been told I had to sing at a wedding. She came out with her toothbrush still in her mouth. "What are you doing?" "I have to talk in front of people." "About what?" "About lines going down." She rinsed, came back, and dragged her teddy bear onto the coffee table. "Okay, practice with me." "Coach Dad, I will be the audience." I laughed in spite of myself. It is not a fun talk. Still needs practice. Go. So I walked her and the bear through it, what the chart showed, what changed, what stayed the same, and how to check it without breaking anything. No buzzwords, no techie flourishes, just plain English. She clapped. So did the bear. The day of the all hands, my palms were sweat slick the second I walked into the room. I waited near the back until Ethan gave the nod. Then I stepped up with the mic and pulled up the sheet. Hey, I am Daniel. This is the refund aging view, I started. The green line tracks backlog. We wanted it lower. It is trending down. I clicked to the pivot. This shows where aging is happening. You can filter by source owner or client. The numbers refresh nightly. If something looks weird, ping me. I shut up after exactly 2 minutes and 57 seconds. People clapped like I had done a solo at a wedding. A few nods. One high five from Lauren, which honestly rattled me more than the talk. I walked back to my seat without looking up. An hour later, Aaron sent me a one-line message in Slack. Clear, honest, helpful thanks. No flair, just 3 words that stuck harder than applause. I saved the message, not because I needed praise, but because some days I still felt like a ghost-like. I was there, working, building, fixing, but half of me was still standing outside HR that morning with no way in. The message did not fix that, but it helped. I printed it, folded it small, and tucked it behind Emma's all-clear sign on the fridge. A few weeks after Tyler got rotated and the kid policy went live, somebody decided to stir the pot. An anonymous post popped up on a throwaway forum. Half industry gossip, half burnout venting. Title said, CEO protects her pet project. Nepotism with a single dad. The body was worse. Watch who gets special access and who gets moved aside. Policy exceptions. Cute daughter more like branding. It got maybe 30 comments before legal's monitoring tools flagged it. Nothing in it was provable, but the tone was sour and the implications stuck. Erin did not wait for it to grow legs. That Friday, she and Monica held an open Q&A in General Ops. Nothing staged, no script, just facts. First question. Why was Daniel hired? Monica answered. He passed the test task with traceable metrics and cleared a 45-day trial. His KPIs have been monitored weekly. He reports to Ethan. I approved the audit personally. Second, what happens if he tanks performance? Erin typed fast. Same as anyone else. We separate. There is no clause that protects performance misses. Someone asked about favoritism. Lauren replied with a screenshot of the access logs and role-based permissions. Same restrictions as other trial hires. Nothing elevated. No flags. To seal it, Erin posted a new statement company-wide. No romance in reporting lines confirmed and reiterated. All managers must recuse from performance decisions if involved personally. All direct reports must declare relationships. Simple, flat, no loopholes. Then she reposted the existing Kids Hour policy, updated the FAQ, and pinned the sign-in log instructions. It did not feel defensive, just clean oxygen removal. Gossip does not live long without air. 4 months and my metrics held. Refund cycle time was still down. QA errors were low. Handoff notes hit 100% for 11 weeks straight. I stayed in my lane, logged what I touched, and avoided anything that looked like gray space. Then Erin pinged me late one Thursday afternoon. Just one line. Do you have time for coffee tomorrow, off-site? No work talk. I stared at the message longer than I should have. Then I wrote back, okay on calendar, vendor tag, HRCC. We met on a breezy patio downtown someplace with metal chairs that rattled on uneven bricks. Wind kept knocking napkins around. She wore sneakers and a zipped-up fleece. No makeup, no layers of authority, just a tired person grabbing 30 minutes between storms. We talked about exercise routines we both lied to ourselves about, running shoes we never used, grocery lists written and forgotten, Emma's obsession with Velcro dashboards. She told me her niece went through a metrics phase too, used star stickers to track chores. It felt normal. That was the strange part. There was not a moment where it blurred into anything more. Just two people who had both been worn out by systems they did not build, catching their breath outside one. I put it on the calendar like any external vendor meeting. HR had the invite. We left it there. That same week, real pressure hit from above. One of our largest clients, Zenith Systems, threatened to delay a rollout unless a rival pay specialist led the go-live instead of our team. Old connection, different politics. None of it mattered. The rollout date was already set. Ops could not afford a miss. Aaron asked Ethan in front of two department leads, "Who owns the night of coordination?" He did not hesitate. "Daniel will keep it calm and documented." That was it. My name on the line. I spent 4 straight evenings building the playbook. Plain text, no fluff. Page 1, who speaks and when. Page 2, checklist of what we verify. Page 3, fallback triggers, what we pause, who we call, and which Slack channel posts the alert. Each section had one goal: keep it cool when the wires start to cross. Go, live night. The rival pay guy showed up loud. Big energy. Too many jokes tried to hijack the runbook midstream. "We can just jump to the newer switch method," he said, grinning at me like we were co-pilots. I asked, "Where is the test data for that path?" He hesitated, blinked. "We did not capture it formally, but the staging version passed and we have seen it. No logged evidence," I cut him off. "Then we go with the vetted path. Logged, timed, repeatable." Ethan backed me without a word. We pushed forward on the conservative plan. Every move went in the live log, complete with timestamps and Slack IDs. We made the window. At 7:41 a.m. the next morning, the client's project lead sent a single sentence: "Cleanest release we have had in a year." I printed it, folded it in half, and slipped it into Emma's art folder between the crayon dashboards and the retro card she made with Mrs. Ramirez. The last all hands of the quarter was quiet. No big announcements, no music, no snacks in the back like the product teams usually got. Just chairs in rows, people half watching their phones, and Ethan at the front with a tablet in one hand and a file folder in the other. Erin stood off to the side, arms crossed, scanning the room like she was watching traffic. She waited until the logistics slide wrapped, then stepped forward. Operations saw measurable lift this quarter. QA trend lines are cleaner, handoffs are stable, and refunds are meeting cycle targets. "Ethan, you have got the floor." He did not step onto a box or raise his voice. He just read like he was confirming a shipment. Refund cycle time down 26% over 8 weeks. QA misses under 1.3%. Handoff compliance 100% for 62 straight nights. Triage logic deployed on schedule. Client feedback confirmed. Ethan tapped the file once, then looked at me. "By the book, Daniel clears team lead for ops and QA." The room clapped like they had been waiting to be told it was okay to react. No loud cheers, just real steady hands hitting palms. Ethan walked over, handed me a sealed envelope. I opened it there. New title, new pay band, effective next payroll cycle. The number was not life-changing, but it made the rent math finally stop looking like a dare. Erin gave a small nod, then added, "Also, thank you to the parenting rituals that keep us human." She pointed at the printed Kids Hour sign hanging by the front exit, like it had always been part of the wall. Monica, sitting 2 rows back, gave a one-line nod of her own. Sustained trend, low variance. That was the closest she got to affection. Afterward, I did not give a speech. I just said thanks and stepped off to the side like I was walking off a curb. The policy did not change. Facilities still kept the sign-in log at reception. Escorts were still required badges, still blue-striped, and every Friday at 4 p.m., The crayons came out, and someone's kid sat quietly with Coco and a dashboard made out of pipe cleaners. Emma had started calling it Team Coco. Kelsey printed out a little nameplate and stuck it on the break room table with Scotch tape. That Friday, Emma helped set out the snack tray while I wrapped up backlog notes. She handed a juice box to a newer guy's daughter, then sat next to her and showed her how to Velcro tasks onto a paper checklist. When I said we were heading out, she grabbed her visitor badge and waved goodbye to Kelsey like she worked there. Outside, the fall air was sharp, but not mean. We walked 3 blocks to the corner spot that still did real soft serve and got 2 small vanilla twists. Mrs. Ramirez saw us from across the street and called out, "What's the occasion?" Emma answered before I could. "Daddy's the boss of checklists now." I laughed a full laugh. Could not help it. Right there in the middle of the sidewalk, like a kid. Later that night, after Emma fell asleep in front of a cartoon rerun, I took the promotion letter and placed it in the shoebox, where I kept the things that mattered. The client's thank you note from Go Live Emma's, first dashboard tab labeled Fixed. The blue striped badge from her first Coco Day. And now this letter. No trophy, no title card on my desk, but it felt earned and it fit in the box. Years later, anytime someone asked how it all started, I did not tell some polished arc or motivational nonsense. I told it plain. It started with me dead on my feet, 20 hours deep. HR shrugging off my shift swap request, and my 6-year-old walking into a glass building I had never set foot in holding a pink folder I did not pack. I did not get in because someone felt sorry for me. I got in because my daughter watched me build checklists at the kitchen table and thought, "This is how my dad fixes messes." She assumed grown-ups would care if she showed them. And Erin Calloway, whatever people want to say about her, did the only thing that made sense. She did not throw me a lifeline. She separated roles handed me to Ethan Rowe and set a bar I could either clear or crash into. That was the deal. Every win I logged had a trail file, links, timestamps, tagged owners, tracked deltas. Every fix came with a note, a change log, and a reason someone could read without guessing. No noise, just facts. When I blew a metric, I named it Built a Prevention Plan and posted the update before anyone asked. Tyler Briggs tried to steal a credit flat out, took my chart, slapped his name on it, and pitched it as his. I did not fight it with drama. Lauren Price pulled the logs. Timestamps landed. Chair moved. No ceremony. That was not revenge. That was gravity. Heavy data tilts the floor. Monica Shaw did not let up either. She questioned the basis for my hire, reran every quarter's numbers, and compared my trends against baseline. I passed the first review and the next one. No shortcuts, no cushions, just clean KPIs. The rumor mill sputtered a few times questions about Emma, about the pink folder, about the timing, but Erin did not cave to the whispers. She posted policies, clarified boundaries, repeated them out loud in meetings, and let performance speak louder than speculation. Eventually, Kids Hour stopped being a thing people whispered about. It was just a 30-minute window on a posted sign, a Friday ritual, no longer a loophole or a favor, just part of the wall. As for Erin and me, we did not blur lines. At work, she was the CEO. I was just one report 3 layers down. Months later, when we finally sat for coffee, it was outside midday, logged on the calendar with HRCC. No hand-holding, no signals. Just 2 tired people who knew what it meant to be tired in silence for too long. Emma, she grew into it from a kid who colored dashboards into a tiny integrator with her own routine. She helped set up Team Coco every Friday, checked if I had written my handoff note, and once caught a missed update before I did. "You forgot the handoff timestamp," she said one morning, handing me my phone before I had even had coffee. "Can't miss the red dot." She was not wrong. Friday Coco stayed sacred, no matter what role I had or what metric I carried. Even when the job came with a new title, more eyes, more pressure, nothing touched Coco Hour. If there is a lesson in all of this, it is simple. I was not rescued. I was measured. And when the measurements were clean, the title followed. We were not a pity case. We were not a headline or a token story to make a company feel better. We were just a small, tired unit, one adult, one kid who showed up, kept receipts, and went home for ice cream. Would you fight that hard for your second chance like Daniel did? Or give up when rules get tough? If this story spoke to you, leave a comment, like, or subscribe. It really helps the channel. Love you all. YouTube picked this for you. Tap it. Let us see if they guessed right.